Hello everyone. So while we're just waiting for other people to hop on, this is an Instagram live, and I will make sure to post it on Instagram. I'll also make sure to post it on YouTube. If you're tuning in afterwards, to go ahead and comment and just say like where you're from. It's just like it's so interesting to see how this platform can connect us from everywhere, anywhere. So just go ahead and just like comment where you're from. Whether you're watching now or in the future, or I guess it would be present in the future. Anyways, but yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm just gonna dive on in just because no point waiting around. Whoever tunes in. So today we're going to be talking about darkness. We're going to be talking about the shift that's happening from our 3D mindset to the 5D in this world that's happening. Also, we're going to be talking about non-attachment and imagination. And so, seems like a lot, but it's not. So let's go ahead and just talk about it real fast. So, darkness. This has been something that has been coming up. I'm sure all of us have felt it in the past. Darkness, this last week especially, there seems to be very heavy energetic upgrades that have been coming in. So if you've been sleeping a lot, if you've been exhausted a lot, if you've been having really vivid dreams, if you've been hearing ringing in your ears, just all of these symptoms that could be potentially happening, this is because we are integrating new energies into our bodies. And so I think I talked about it a little bit last week, but this week especially has been coming in. It's just like, oh, by the way, make sure you deal with these things. And so actually the other day I took the entire day off. I was like, I need to be by myself. And so I went on a drive, and I don't just go on drives. I usually have a destination in mind. But so I went on a drive, and I just ended up driving through downtown, and then I ended up on the outskirts of downtown. And what I saw was gray. It was dark. It was just dreary. It was a slave world, okay? And so this is where I'm talking about darkness. On my drive, I went through and I saw crates on crates on crates. I saw machinery. I saw all of this third dimensional workings, and just all of the like gears started like shifting and like clicking together for me, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I passed by this, like, not that specific spot, but I passed by similar places my whole life, but I hadn't like put together like, oh my gosh, we are an enslaved race. The humans are an enslaved race. And so all of us waking up right now are like, oh yeah, we're enslaved, but then half of us are like okay with it, and we're just like, yep, this is how it's going to be. The other half of us are like, absolutely not. This is not how we're going to allow this to go. This is not what is supposed to be happening here. It was, and we learned so much from it, but now we're in this space, we don't need to be there anymore. And so this darkness that is here is not gonna stay, okay? And so there is already systems in place that are dismantling. There are new systems being built and fabricated, and we have all of the support from our angels, from the galactics, from our spirit guides, from our higher selves, from our inner selves, from ourselves, and from each other. And so all of us coming together right now have this empowered state of mind where we can not undo, but we can shift and transmute this energy that is here. We are always going to be polarity. This is just what the third dimension is this polarity between light and dark, good and evil. There's always going to be that. That's just how it is. And so when we speak from the third dimension space to the fifth dimension space, we're talking of a mindset shift. Okay, a mindset shift. And our physical bodies will shift, but we will still be anchored into this third dimension. It's not like we are entering into and the world is just going to flip over on itself and we're going to be in a fifth dimension. That's not quite. That is like when I first started like understanding things, that is something that I actually thought was going to happen, is like our worlds were actually going to like split and we're going to have a third dimension, we're going to have a fifth dimension. When in actuality, all of the dimensions are one on top of the other, and so they're all existing simultaneously at this moment in this present now. And so whether you are sitting in the third dimension, fourth dimension, or fifth dimension, you could be watching this video. Okay? And so it's just very, it blows my mind, honestly. But understanding that you can be in the fifth dimension at the same time others are in the third dimension and you are having a conversation with them. Like that is how this is happening. We are shifting into this next stage, into this next mindset, into this next new now. But that doesn't discount the fact that these dark energies are still here, are still on this planet. And as we transition into the fifth dimension, that doesn't mean that they go away. That just means we now have the awareness and the capabilities and the understanding of our own resources to then deal with them, to then integrate them into a more heightened version, a higher vibration where we don't overuse our resources, where we don't do child slavery and child trafficking, like where we don't do all of these things, but we actually serve humanity. We only use the resources we need. We only use the things that we have to do. People are being paid for what they are doing, how much they are worth, how much what they are doing is worth. And so it's coming into that frequency, but that doesn't mean we are just like coming off of the planet. We're gonna be on this planet, okay? And so that is something that I definitely want to get across, is the fifth dimension is here. The fifth dimension is now. We just have to tune in and tap into that frequency and then maintain it. You can bounce back and forth all the time. We go into the fourth dimension when we sleep. We go into the fifth dimension when we're in the high vibrational state. Like we go into all of these different vibrations. We go into these different dimensions all over the place. We are hopping in and out of these dimensions constantly. We're not just stuck here in the third dimension because we are multidimensional. We are expanding our dimensions. So we are focusing right now, transmuting from this third dimension into this fifth dimension. But beyond that, you have to go through the fourth dimension to get to the fifth dimension. And then beyond that, we have the capability to be contacting and connecting with eighth dimension beings, 12th dimension beings. And that says so much about us as humans. We have all of this capability within us. We just need to accept and utilize it and like train ourselves and practice with what it is that we have to then step into what is coming. And so what is coming being this complete transition into the fifth dimension, where that will be the anchored frequency. In this third dimensional world, space, again, duality, good, light, dark, all the bad, all the things, but coming in from that fifth dimensional space. And so seeing all of this machinery, seeing the overused resources, but then understanding how can we restore, how can we rejuvenate, how can we rest, but then also get everything done that needs to be done. How can we do that in our state of mind, in our being? How can we aid in this transition? How can we do everything that has happened? So that is just a little bit about the darkness and into the fifth dimension. So what I want to talk about next is this non-attachment that comes in this fifth dimension mindset. And so again, everything that we're talking about is mindset. This is all that it is. This is our mind then creates our consciousness. Like our consciousness vibrates because of the thoughts that we are imagining and creating. And so from the mindset, we then create, are we in the third dimension, fourth dimension, or fifth dimension? If we're in the third dimension, are we attentive or are we reactionary? If we're in the fourth dimension, are we attentive or are we reactionary? If we're in the fifth dimension, how are we responding to the other dimensions that we see around us? So there's all of these different things, and non-attachment comes in here because it is I find it is a practice where you can go in and be non-attached, and so don't attach yourself, disconnect all those cords from yourself, and in that non-attachment state, you then have it more easily available to just observe and just be aware and just see how it is that you can exist, how you can be, but then also how you can how you can interact with others. That's going to be that non-attachment. Is because we have attachment to literally everything. Attachment to our phones, attachment to social media, attachment to your family, attachment to your body, attachment to an ideal body, attachment to a book, attachment to a movie, attachment to your bed, attachment to your house. Like there's attachments for everything. Attachments to your name. Oh my gosh, that one just like am definitely attached to my name. But so non-attachment, how can we be aware of we are here as conscious light beings and everything around us, it doesn't exist. It exists in this now moment as a third dimension. Yes, I can knock on it. I have a body, but it doesn't exist in the grand scheme of things because everything is energy, and this is just how it's formulating right now. In the next moment, it could be something completely different. And the only reason I can tell that there's a wall behind me is that I'm seeing it in front of me. There have been studies done that is, what did you say? Detachment is life-changing. Yes. Yes. Literally, detachment is life-changing. I came in, a little story time. I came in from, I was in college, and then I went on a trip to Italy one summer, and then when I coming back from Italy, I didn't know how I was going to pay for college. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know what job I was going to have. I didn't know any of the material world things, the third dimension things, no idea. Couldn't tell you. And so what I said was, I felt that I needed to go to Italy, and this is where I am, and I learned so much in this that the universe will provide for me when I get back. And so then I found a job, I found a place to live, I found things to do, I found this whole aspect of me. And so in doing all of that, I became detached from the person that I was, that identity of I needed to be a college student, I needed to have a degree, I needed to be this, I needed to be that, and I needed to have a place to live, I needed to have this, I needed to have that, I needed so many things. And then being in this state of, you know what, I have me, and that is all that I ever need. Because me, I am enough. You are enough. And so that non-attachment is so vital to everything that's going on, because being not attached to what is here and what is now means that when it leaves, when it's gone, you're okay. And that's what's coming in between this now moment in this third dimension space where we're going into this fifth dimension. We need that non-attachment because we have this, how do I say this? We have this non-attachment that needs to come in, because if we're attached to everything in this third dimension, we are only ever going to be in this third dimension. Whereas the fifth dimension requires that non-attachment. It's so interesting because it's kind of, what's the word? Dualistic? That's not the word. Anyways, it has this need to be not needed. It's counterproductive or counterintuitive. It just blows my mind. It's just so we have this non-attachment coming in where all of us are we either feel like we need to downsize, we need to get rid of a bunch of clothes, we don't need so many things, we don't need to go out, we don't need all of these things, we don't need them. And so when we feel that non-attachment, we are taking baby steps into this fifth dimensional space to then fully integrate it as our anchored dimension. So then when we are anchored into the fifth dimension, we are then able to live in that dimensional space and then see the fourth dimension, see the third dimension, and then integrate those into how we can then act and how we can live. I don't know if that made any sense, but what did you say, Kimberly? The 3D teaches limitations and restrictions, and the 5D is all about endless possibilities and opportunities. Yes, yes, yes. All of the above. Limitations and restrictions. That is where we have been. That is where we were. That's where we were. Mention it's already past. We are already moving into this endless possibilities and opportunities because we feel that. If you're watching this, you feel that call, you feel that pull. So there's more, there's opportunity, there's like Kimberly said, there's endless possibilities. And it's just us stepping into that and stepping into that awareness of, I don't have to be tied down to this 9-to-5 job for the rest of my life. If you want to, amazing, perfect, wonderful. If that is your passion, go for it. For me, it wasn't for me. And so stepping into this endless possibilities, we have so many possibilities, and it's only up to our imagination. That's the next thing on my bullet points. So that was a beautiful transition, Kimberly. Thank you. But this imagination coming in here, we have this space to be where we're at. where we're at in this now moment and be completely content with ourselves. And we can live out the rest of our days and we'll be completely fine. You have the job. But at the same time, no job is secure. So are you really fine? Are we really fine? No. No. I saw this sign the other day on my drive. We need to... Oh, that popped. I saw this sign the other day when I was driving around, and it was a memorial. And it said, "Freedom is not free." And so, of course, it's talking about the lives that were lost. And thank you, everybody, for your service, for the space that we have today, even though there is still so much work to be done. Freedom is not free. It cost so much for us to be where we are. For me to be making this video, it has cost us so much. So many lives, so much time, so many lifetimes, so many traumas and heartache for this simple act of me making a video, for you watching this video. But in doing that, freedom is not free. It still isn't free. We still have to protect ourselves from the dark forces of this world, whether that's terrorists, whether that's a virus, whether that's blah, 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 XYZ. We still have to have this protection around us. Why? Why? And it's not a one-time payment. This is a consistent payment over a lifetime of payments. And this isn't just one lifetime, or else it would have been paid for a long time ago. This freedom we are all feeling is paid for within each of our lifetimes. This freedom is not free. This freedom is non-existent. Yes, we have more liberties and more freedoms than other countries. I'm speaking from being here in the United States. But at the same time, are we really free? Like, let's ask ourselves, are we really free? If I'm tied down to, I need to have a residence so that they can send my taxes, so I can pay taxes to them, pay for the land that I don't actually own. And then also, am I actually free in all of the other aspects of life? Am I actually free to be an entrepreneur? Am I actually free to be talking about a 3D third dimension versus fifth dimension? Am I actually free to do that? Or am I going to be considered crazy and people won't talk to me? So there's all these aspects of what we are talking about that, are we actually free? Control is an illusion that humans will fight to hold on to. Yes. Like, we are literally seeing that right now in all of this that is happening. Control is an illusion. We are being controlled from very minimal, up here, elitists, where the rest of the world has all the power if we would only accept and understand that we have the power. I kind of got sidetracked, but I was talking about imagination. So we have this opportunity to come from this freedom and really, really imagine what free looks like. Free energy, renewable resources, sustainability, all of these different aspects where we are actually free to live in our passions and live the lives that we want to be doing. And it all starts in here. It all starts in our imagination. It starts in here. It starts with this connection, our mind and our heart. They get to connect with one another. We get to imagine the passions that we want to have, the life that we want to have. And it must come from that imagination. It must come from there first, because we're not able to create. We're not able to do anything we don't first imagine. Like, that's just not how our human works. Okay? You have to imagine it once, at least, to then be able to do it. In every single action. Even while I'm doing this, my brain is like, bring. Anyways, the mental shift comes before we can see that reality. Yes, Kimberly. I simply love, our mind has to make the shift first, and then our bodies will catch up. And so for this last week especially, we have been integrating these deep upgrades, okay? And I extra that deep, because these deep upgrades that are coming in have been, whether you've been feeling them or not, they've been coming in. I talked about a little bit, exhaustion, extra sleep. You could be really hungry. You could actually be not hungry at all. You could be disconnecting from the world. You could feel all of these different things. Those are the ones that are coming up right now. But in doing that and feeling those, we must integrate them, because our mind and our energy has shifted. our mind and our energy has shifted. We want that freedom. We want that success. We want the passion. We want that life that we love. And we want just that fulfillment that comes from being who we are. And that's our mind. And then our energy system is getting all of these upgrades and downloads from our guides and from Earth and from Gaia and from the stars and from all around. We're just getting all of these downloads and upgrades into our energy systems. And so our energy is like, whoop, just did a 360, 180, whatever it is. But then our physical body is like, oh my God, what's going on? Okay. And so that's what's happening. That's what's been happening since 2012. For myself, I started to become more aware of it in 2016. For you might have started coming aware of it in 2019. For others, they might have started coming into awareness of it in March. So for those of us that have been experiencing this, it is now up to us to now help guide and help assist those who are just now coming in and being like, oh my God, what's going on? We can now assist in that process. But it comes from here. It comes from our mental state and our energetic systems integrating our physical body. Because if we are not fully integrated into this new energy, into this new vibration, we will not then be able to help others. Because if we're not integrated into it, how in the world are you going to help somebody else integrate into something you are not integrated into? If you are not living in that vibration, in that mindset, in that energy, it's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. And so we have to be believing in ourselves to live in this fifth dimensional world, in this fifth dimensional density, to then come back to the third dimension with our physical body, which is something we are so gifted to have. So gifted to have. We have this fifth dimensional opportunity in a third dimensional body. So we can integrate this fifth dimension and the third dimension together and really lift up this third dimension into today, not even tomorrow, into today, into this now, very now moment. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about, was just that darkness that's always going to be here. But as we stay in that fifth dimensional frequency and help integrate that third dimension and anchor in that density with our imagination, with non-attachment, not being attached to the physical, not being attached to your name, your body, your life, your job, whatever it is, that needs to be required. That needs to be understood. So, those are my bullet points. But yeah, so let me know in the comments how those were for you. Kimberly said the mental shift comes before we can see the reality. So good. I'm so happy that it was resonating with you. And then let's do a little... You guys like it when I do cards? I think I'll pull one card. I think I'll do one card. I think I saw a heart. Let's see. I want to do this one. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, let's see what's going on with the collective. I think just give me 1 second. I don't want to do a card. I'll do a card in a second. How about that? Okay, so what's going on with the collective? I just want to see what's going on. Okay. So there was something that I didn't quite talk about that they want me to talk about real fast. And the word alignment came up. And so this is another thing that's been happening, is that in the integration process, so if you imagine, let me see if I can draw this. Let's see. Okay, so we have our body, our energy, and our system. Okay, so this is what is happening right now. So we have our body, we have our energy, this one, and then we have just our everything else, mental state, energy, and then body. So we have these three here. And so what's happening is that all of this energy coming in is now integrating. I can't draw backwards, but it's now integrating to align us into this fifth dimensional space where everything is working together. And so in that alignment that's happening, that is coming in, and our energy systems is now working in unison, working as one unit within our body to then fully move us into this next stage, move us into this process that's coming. I hope you guys enjoyed my drawing, because thank you. You can buy it on my I'm just kidding. So let's see what card comes through for the collective. Let's see. Oh, I'm just shuffling these backwards. There we go. Let's see. For the collective. For those of you who do cards, do you have a certain way you shuffle? Because I definitely shuffle them a certain way. And if I don't, they just feel weird. Oh, hello. Okay. Oh, hello. Okay, so we have 2 cards coming through today. So what we have is Strengthen Your Gifts, number 6. And so that's going to be this one. Really beautiful. Flower blossoming with that little man watering it. And then we have Begin to Explore, number 2. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. Perfect. So with these, we have Begin to Explore and Strengthen Your Gifts. So as a collective, what is happening right now is that a lot of people now are finally coming in to realize, like, oh, there's so much more to this world than what I was thinking. There's so much more. And so that's what's happening right now, is they thought they had to go along this path. They had to go in between the pillars. They had to go in between. But now that we're all coming to realize, like, there's around the pillars. You can dig a hole and go under. You can go over. You can jump over it. You can go up and around and spiral around it. And so you don't have to take the long path. You don't have to take the direct path, just because, like, the direct path is going to take you to back around in the cycle. And so taking and exploring and seeing what all is out there, really, really coming in strong right now. And just seeing the beauty that's all around you. And it definitely has this fishy energy. There's this water energy. And so really just taking that second, and it's like a flying fish. It's so interesting. So that's what this one is speaking to. Just so we have water energy. We have a lot of just like going with the flow, just like taking it one step at a time, one moment at a time, and just seeing where it goes. Just being like, okay, so I don't know what step 2 is, but I know what step 1 is. But I don't know what step 2 is. And so that's where our ego comes in, is like, I don't know what step 2 is. What if there isn't a step 2? What if I take step 1 and then it like goes back and I go back 5 steps? But like, you're not actually, you're going forward. Don't worry, you're fully supported right now with that 2 being there. Begin to explore. There's a lot of unity coming in. So take that first step. And then after you take the first step, then it'll show the second step. And after you take the second step, then it'll show the next step. And so it's all this trust energy coming in. So very, very much trust, surrender. There we go. I don't know what accent that was. So trust and surrender, again, coming in very strong this week. I think that was in last week's as well. Not quite sure. Strengthen your gifts. And so again, this one. So we had this one. And so really just like taking the moments to water. So like he is right there, he's watering the flower, which is blooming, but he isn't watering the top of it. He's not watering the things that everybody sees. He's not watering the grand design, this beautiful, gorgeous flower. He's watering the roots. He's watering what grounds it. He's watering what develops and actually aids it. He's not the flower and the blossoms and the petals and all of that fun stuff come. They come because you're also supported with the sunshine. You're also supported with the soil. You're also supported just with the space. So give yourself the space. Give yourself a bit of laughter and happiness. Give yourself a little bit of soil. So give yourself the time. Integrate that into your being. Integrate that into your day. So yeah, that's the one. Integrate it into your day. So especially with this begin to explore and the strengthen your gifts, we need to be giving ourselves the time to actually move into these gifts that we are discovering. We cannot be avoiding these anymore. We cannot be pushing them under the rug. We cannot be pushing them to the side and be like, oh, that's just something I do on the side. No. What you do on your side is your job. That's what you do on your side. What you do is you live a life. You live a human life. That is what you do. We are not doing... So, let me try to explain. Our jobs that pay for this material world, that is not what we do. What we do is we live life. And we are doing our best to live our life in this present moment. In this moment where we are right now. And so in doing that, we then allow our jobs to support our life instead of our life supporting our jobs. And so there's this contrast right now that's coming in and like clashing, because our egos are like, oh no, my job is the most important. But then our soul is like, actually, I'm the most important and I need some attention right now. Especially with all this integrated energy that's coming in, we need to be taking the time to strengthen our gifts and explore them. Like, what actually are these? Like, if you started seeing ghosts, like imagine, for those of you who aren't clairvoyant and for those of you who are, if you first start seeing ghosts, but you're just like, nah, I don't need to see those, I'm not gonna do that, you think the ghosts are gonna care? Like, it's just so mind-blowing. If you're starting to see auras, if you're starting to hear downloads and get downloads, having vivid dreams every night, it's time to start paying attention. It is time to start paying attention, because they are not gonna stop, because it's such intense energy. And if you need guidance in doing that, feel free to reach out to me. I love to help people along that journey. But this is the time to explore those gifts and strengthen them, practice them. So that's going to be that. If you want a personal session, let me know. Go ahead and DM me. I'm definitely open for tarot readings, energy healings. I'm still doing donation-based cellular energy release, and those have been mind-blowing. Those have really been so powerful, just in general, just like for myself, but then also for every single person that I've been doing it for. It's been so powerful. So if you want one of those, definitely let me know. Donation-based, so there's not really too much. And then also I have that Tarot 101 class coming up on September 17th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me know if you want the Zoom information for that. It is free. Donations are more than happily accepted, but it is free. So just let me know if you are interested in learning a bit about how I read tarot. These are technically oracle cards, but I'll be focusing on tarot that night. And then also, if you are interested in growing and developing your own intuition and your own abilities and just getting more in touch with yourself, let me know, because I do have that Intuition Masterclass, and there's only 5 spots left. And so definitely let me know if that is something you are interested in, because I would love to get you in on it. It starts September 23rd. And yeah, so that's what I have for today. If you do want a free 1-card reading, I don't feel like doing them like on here, and so go ahead and message me, and I can do them over there for you. And yeah, other than that, I've been talking for almost 45 minutes, but I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are and whatever time it is, and I will see y'all next Thursday at 3:33 for another live. Okay, see ya. Bye. Here we go.